what's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking out another video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for just liking my videos and checking them out every week. I appreciate it. Well, so I know in my last video that ended that you can actually just check out right here. I did say that I was going to be doing my studio tour, but my studio, it might be changing again. I'll get into that one day down the road. But as of right now, I'm also doing a couple of other things there. So I just want a little bit more time, but I am going to do a studio tour because it's super important to me and I'm really proud to do it. So expect that in a future video. But first and foremost, this is my new space. I don't know if you remember when I first started doing videos, I had my own little private studio, and then I started doing them out of my apartment in Astoria. I am in the same apartment building I was doing them in, except I'm one level up in a new, much bigger space. Off camera over here, you can actually, I'll show it sometime as well. I have a whole Seamless set up to take some pictures. Actually, here are some pictures I took on the Seamless recently for some Halloween stuff. So that's actually in my apartment. This apartment is big enough to have that, and then an office area, and then a bedroom and a living room and all of that. I'm super stoked to be here in this place. And this is going to be my new video area. I have my desk over here. As you can see, I'm working on a project right now that I have up that I'm editing in Lightroom. And then I have some, Halloween decorations up. It's October. We're getting very close to Halloween. I have a very special Halloween video coming out. But for today's video is a very interesting video because I'm going to be humble and say I was wrong about something a long time ago. If you check out this clip right here from this video I shot about 1.5 years ago, it'll kind of give context what we're going to talk to you about today. Now, a couple of things I don't like that are actually making me not stick with this camera. The megapixel count. I know, I'm pixel peeping. I'm being annoying about this. I get it. So yeah, that video was me about 1.5 years ago talking about how I did not like the recently released then Fuji X100V camera. Now, that was when I was in the height of my film photography career, when I was doing all film photography, like the cameras that are over here, my Pentax 6.7, my Canon EOS R. And the reason I don't think I liked it as much as I thought I should have is because I wasn't getting the film look I was looking for. Not necessarily the colors and the tones, but the kind of look you get from a 35mm camera. I was too digital, but safe to say I've changed my mind and I got another Fuji X100V and I am utterly obsessed with it. So this is not really going to be a review video because there have been many of those and I kind of went over it in that last video. This is going to be kind of a video that why did I change my mind and what in the past year of film photography and just regular photography has brought me to this level where now that is my go-to everyday camera. The camera I'm recording this on right now, this is my professional gear that I use for my professional work. But I needed a camera to go to Ireland with in November, and then also I went on to a recent trip to North Carolina with. I wanted something that was good quality, better than my iPhone 13 Pro, but didn't want to have to bring this around and change the lenses and take myself out of the moment, just something I can take with. And I thought about it and I said, well, this Fuji camera was really good, but I already had it. I didn't like it. But I just bit the bullet. I had the money. And I bought it, and I am so glad I bought it. I'm just going to go over a couple of reasons why and show some of my favorite photos I took from North Carolina and why I'm so looking forward to taking it with Ireland. So the first thing I want to talk about is basic just build quality of the camera. I got the black one. It's a heck of a camera. It's solid metal and glass. There's barely, I think, any plastic on here. If there was, I can't find it, but it is a solid build camera. But what's also great about it is it just has this beautiful like Leica 35mm film look to the camera itself. It's got this beautiful black steel, aluminum, rather, not steel, aluminum. It's just a beast of a camera and it looks great in the hand and looks great when using it. And just to quickly go over a couple of things on the camera, it has a 23mm aspherical lens that is just sharp as a tack, even stopped all the way down at 2.0. This thing has no vignetting, barely any vignetting, barely any kind of like softness around the edges. It is just an all-around camera. That is why with the Fuji X100V, the newer version, they fixed it, because in the X100F, when you got down to 2.8 and 2.0, you started getting kind of muddy photos, but now they are sharp. Up top, you have a redesigned kind of shutter speed and ISO dial, where before you had to hold the button up to change the ISO. Now it's just a button. You pull it up, change it, stays up, pop it down, good to go. You don't have to worry about putting on the wrong ISO and all that. And then also you have nice tactical feel when you're going through different shutter speeds. It's a really great feeling camera. And next to that, you have a really responsive, great shutter button. And it's just, you know, again, it's just an all-around great camera. It's easy to hold. It's super light. And also this tilting shoot from the hip kind of LCD screen really sells it, because sometimes you don't want to have to like look down and kind of just figure it out. With this shoot at the hip kind of LCD pop out screen, it's perfect for that, and that's why I picked this up. So that's my overall feel of why I like the camera itself, but it doesn't just stop with the camera. Also comes along with the biggest part of a camera is the image quality. We have a 24 megapixel sensor in here, but the thing that makes it the best are two things that are great about this camera. The Fuji film simulations, which are some of the best I've ever seen, the best color representation, the best saturation, the best overall look. And then the second, the fact that now that I'm obsessed with it, you can make recipes and simulate even different popular film stocks. I have one in there for Kodak Portra 400, for Fuji 200, for Kodak Portra 800, for another kind of like CineStill look. These recipes are what makes it. It makes it not only that it's just a great camera, but it's also customizable as far as deep down into the sensor and into the images you get. There's a great app and website out there called FujiXWeekly that tells you about how to set up all of these recipes and get this unique film look out of it. I'm going to leave a link for the website and the app below. Download it, check it out. It's incredible stuff. But I want to take a look at the photos I took with it. So recently I went on a trip to North Carolina for a wedding. And I brought this camera with me because I wanted to document it and get some great photos while I was down there. And I'll tell you, it surpassed my expectations. On some of these, I'm mostly using the Kodak Portra 400 recipe I put into the camera, but I also am using things like Classic Chrome, Pro Neg, and stuff like that. But let's look at some of my favorite photos from my trip to North Carolina shot on the Fuji X100V. So those are some of my favorite photos I took that weekend in North Carolina with this brand new camera I have. I mean, they look great. The colors are incredible. My favorite ones are the ones of Jess when she's sitting on the edge and she's just hanging out in her bridesmaid's dress and just having a good time. I love that the color of the sky, the color of her dress, just how good everything looks, the depth of field. It's just beautiful. And then the other photos I love is when I was up on Great Smoky Mountain in North Carolina, Tennessee border, And just the fall colors I got and the greens and the oranges just blew me away. So again, I'm man enough to admit I was wrong, and I'm sorry I made that video, but it was a different time. My creativity, my thought process was in a different area at that time, so that's why I made those decisions. But now that I've been doing more digital work and focusing more on digital work, this camera is just the perfect camera to take everywhere I go. Even on my big trip to Ireland in a few weeks, we're going to Ireland for 10 days. I was originally going to take this camera, but I was like, yeah, but then I'm going to have to bring 3 lenses and change it out and be out of the moment of my vacation and of exploring Ireland. And this camera is great. Yes, it only has 1 focal length, though I do think I'm going to buy the focal extender to bring it to a 50mm to get a 1.4 zoom in. But like the fact that I have an iPhone that has a 3x zoom and this, I don't need to bring my professional camera with me anymore. I could take this and my iPhone and get all the photos I need on my trips and adventures and stay in the moment. That's what's the best part about this camera is since it's got 1 lens, you get to stay in the moment and enjoy it. And that's why I keep this camera for my professional stuff. So I hope you enjoyed my apology, me showing that I am human and I am wrong and I said the wrong thing at one time, but I've changed my mind. And I hope you enjoy the video and the photos. And if you have a Fuji camera, if you have an X100V, F, T, X series, I want to know. Hit me up on Instagram at Ryan J. Leone. Find me. Let's talk about it. Let's trade photos. Let's just talk about how awesome these cameras are. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing. Remember to just shoot. I'll see you in the next one where we go and take a look at my studio. I'll see you in the next one. Later.